Hey guys, welcome back to EK TV. I'm delighted to have David Siegel with us, the CEO of Pillar Project. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Exciting.
Yeah. Okay, great. So obviously we're here at London Blockchain Week. I believe Pillar Project is a London, UK-based company.
Yeah.
How do you feel the blockchain space is evolving in London? Or because obviously London's a big fintech hub, right? But then you start looking at CoinMarketCap and maybe you don't see a UK project in the top 20, at least as far as I'm aware. So why do you think that is?
I don't look at CoinMarketCap at all. I mean, there's plenty of good companies here that don't have tokens or don't, that are changing the world without having to be on CoinMarketCap. It's been pretty hard, right? The last 8 months have been pretty devastating for many projects. So we knew that like 90% of ICOs would go away just because that's normal for business. People try new things and most of it fails.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're probably at 95, 96% just gone. And so really good projects have evaporated simply because they couldn't cash out and make their payroll, right? And it's, to me, it's disappointing because the last 2 years we've had ICOs for open source projects that you could never fund anywhere else. What are you going to do? Go to a VC and say, well, we're completely open source. Why don't you fund us? That's never going to work. No. So it was really exciting, and now it's dead, not because they weren't able to get to market, not because they didn't have good developers, but because they ran out of money after raising a reasonable, if you raise like 5 to 10 million last spring, now you have like 1.
Yeah.
Right? And that's been really good people out on the street looking for work. Now, on the other hand, there have been some excellent survivors, and things are looking up, and good solutions are coming. And we're now working pretty hard on these layer 2 scalability issues. And you saw the price of Ether go up pretty significantly a few weeks ago when they were about to hard fork. Yeah. So at some point, this year should be a pretty good year, right? I'm hoping, I keep saying that this year pretty much everything should double.
Let's hope so.
Right? Yeah. Whatever you're looking at, CoinMarketCap, all those numbers I hope, how can I tell the future, but I hope they will double because we really are making progress now.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some stats recently from the Lightning Network that have been quite impressive. Like they're coming out obviously to scale Bitcoin.
There's lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not big on some of the ones that are more hype. I won't mention, but there's really good work being done right now.
Yeah. I guess this is a phase where we're all building, hopefully, rather than just marketing, which was happening in 2017, early 2018.
Yeah, it's time for serious building, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, we're certainly doing it.
So obviously you mentioned crypto winter, which is this is the longest. I know people the old buzzwords, but this is the longest bear market that we've had officially, I believe. So how is Pillar Project? How have you changed your? How are you changing your business model? How are you able to cope in this market? And as you mentioned, 90% of ICOs potentially have failed. So
we're surviving.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say I have the money to do everything I want. I don't have the money to do half of what I want, but I'm pretty ambitious.
Yeah.
So we're taking one step at a time. We've got a good crew. We've shipped a wallet in early December. And it's just a baby step. It's just the very beginning. But it's what's cool about what we're doing, Aaron, we care about the user experience. So the user experience is so harsh and clunky. And if you've ever used a Jax wallet and tried to figure out what happened, where's my, I better look at the Blockchain Explorer. Well, that's not the same. We're trying to just solve all that and make it look like a boring banking app. Just like Revolut, only you don't even notice that there's crypto anything. Yeah. That's how we want it. And we've done that. So we have a very small app where you can just send money to somebody by name. Here's somebody you can just send. I won't do the whole thing, but you send Ether and you never type in an address or you never shoot a QR code. It's because you've already connected to people via our connections, which is kind of like Skype. You have a whole address book of people, not addresses, not QR codes. It's just people. And you can disconnect with them or you can share more information with them and eventually, you can eventually share lots of your personal data with them. So you could say, so we have messaging, we have end-to-end encrypted messaging that's completely different from Facebook. So we're just trying to be this sort of decentralized, easy to use platform, and it's very beginning, but it's also a bunch of world firsts that no one's done, because we build very heavy machinery running on the back end to make it so your front end experience is simple.
So the wallet there, I mean, I just saw Ethereum and Pillar. Is it just Ethereum
That's all
Pillar
I have right now.
at the moment? Yeah.
We're adding more as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have collectibles coming.
All right.
Game of badges, Wallet Connect, so that you'll sort of like MetaMask be able to more securely interact with a dApp using your phone rather than MetaMask, which is really hard to use. So again, we're just taking all these normal things in the crypto world and trying to make them very easy to use.
Yeah. Okay.
So your mom can use,
yeah,
crypto assets.
Yeah. That would be the day. But yeah.
That's our goal. Well, she can here, but she can't do much.
So is this available on iOS?
This is App Store and Google Play, and it's called the Pillar Wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I believe the wallet is just the first of many bits of software that Pillar Project are planning to release.
Well, for us, it's a platform, so we'll be adding much more to it. We'll be adding stable coins. Yeah. We're going to add a store so you can buy Pillar T-shirts and Pillar swag, and then other stores over time.
I think your phone is your phone case.
Yeah, well, we have Pillar stickers. You're going to get a Pillar sticker with every T-shirt anyway. But it's a wallet where you'll be able to buy a T-shirt in the wallet and spend Pillar tokens to buy your T-shirt. So this is all kind of world first stuff.
Yeah.
And more. So we'll have security tokens eventually, regulated security offerings. You'll be able to see all your holdings of private equities or maybe loans. You'll be able to do lending. I mean, whatever. Now, pretty soon, we just went fully open source. We'll have an SDK. And people will be able to say, hey, I want to hack your wallet and build this cool thing onto it. And we'll say, sure. And the other thing we're doing is a white label service where you can just take the guts and add your solution and you brand it. It's your product.
Okay.
And you can stick it in the App Store, and it'll be powered by Pillar behind the scenes.
Wow.
So, again, just trying to make, like, everybody in blockchain has got a solution.
Yeah.
But that solution always requires a wallet. And the wallets are horrible. That's not their strength.
No.
Their strength is their whatever business that they want to change, right?
Yeah.
So we just want to give them a nice vanilla package that gets the basics right, so they don't have to build a wallet that's insecure or that's clunky and it's going to turn off their users.
Okay, that sounds interesting. So, I understand, obviously, for those that obviously don't know, I mean, it's probably better for you to explain what the Pillar Project's core values are, but it's, go on.
Yeah, I mean, so we're about data privacy, that you own all your own assets and you own all your conversations, and it's your platform. So you're like economy of one. Instead of going through all the central servers and the central software that Mark Zuckerberg wants you to use, or Jeff Bezos, or Google, you have your private keys to everything, and that deconcentrates, right? So at Amazon, they have all the credit card numbers. They're all in one place. That's a really juicy place for hackers to try to get your data, right? All of your personal data. Google knows everything you've ever searched for, ever, right? Facebook knows everything, every emoji ever, right? And in our world, you own all that. We're doing a pilot project, for example, for prescriptions. Your doctor will send your prescription not to a pharmacy, but to you. And then you'll put it out to bid, and pharmacies can bid on your prescription and say, well, I'll take the least cost one, or I'll take the one that is mail order, or the one that delivers, or the one that has it across the street right now because I need it, whatever it is. And you manage it, and then all of your prescription data will be on the blockchain and in your wallet, and you'll have the private keys. And we don't have those private keys. We couldn't get them if the FBI puts a gun to my head and says, we've got to have the back door. There is no back door. Yeah. It's yours. Yeah. That's sovereign ownership, self-sovereign ID, self-sovereign identity, and self-sovereign ownership of assets and messages as well. So we don't know what you're messaging with people. If you're doing something illegal, we would not know. We can't be your watchdog. Yeah. It's up to you.
So it's just about, obviously, bringing the control back to the user, right? I guess
it's user-centric. It's what So you have all your own assets. If everybody has his own assets, you have the private keys to everything you own, hackers have nothing to go for because it's not concentrated anymore. That's the problem with banks. Mm-hmm. Why is our whole banking infrastructure so expensive? Mm-hmm. Because they have to protect against massive hacks. Here we can just do it right here. We could run an entire money supply. The federal bank, the central banks could run the pound and the euro and the dollar right here on people's phones and get rid of all the central banks. So this is the decentralized world that we're really about.
And what do you think then is, I mean, obviously that's a huge uptake in, but, you know, what do you think is the biggest challenge from your side for this to actually happen?
Well, a year ago, I was going to say engineering, and now I would say engineering and money.
Yeah.
Because we don't have as much as we're going to need to, to change the world in a big way. Mm-hmm. So we're working on different business models, and we're still struggling with engineering to get really top group of people working really well together. I would say we're still not there. We've shipped a decent product, but we don't have what we call feature velocity yet, and so engineering continues to be an issue for us. But sure. We're shipping, and we're doing continuous integration, and we're getting it, but we need to increase the speed.
And how do you think? Obviously, lots of people are talking about security token offerings. Like, how do you see that? Coming into the crypto space or the blockchain space. Do you think there will be like a whole STO mania like there was with ICO mania, or do you think it'll be like more controlled?
So first of all, another one of those big problems I have is regulators, because I think regulators don't understand that what they're doing now. Forget about the crypto space. Just regulating financial markets doesn't work. There's no evidence that what they do is protecting people. It's just politicians looking tough on crime, so they pass tough laws, and then regulators enforce those laws, and they don't really help. So I've gone pretty deeply down that rabbit hole, and I think that we're regulating for the 21st century in a 20th century mindset, and that's not so now. And now we're applying that to tokens. So all of that is pretty bollocksed and pretty unfortunate for people like you, young people, who are going to be in your prime in some 10 or 20 years when you're a really powerful mucky muck and CEO and big deal guy. You're going to be up against old regulations and old government mindset that don't have anything to do with reality. Mm-hmm. So security tokens is not a big new thing. Security offerings have been going on for hundreds of years. Yeah. Since 1502, I think. And it's not a big new market. It's just that we're tokenizing the paperwork from existing fundraising that's all heavily regulated and mostly only available to wealthy people because government officials think that it's somehow bad for the public to buy private equity. That's too bad. But given those rules, we're just trying to take that paperwork, get rid of it, and make it into tokens that you can then maybe some interesting things will happen later. So we're not really trying to change that market. That's not a new market. That's just stopping people from going to law offices and spending £200,000 on a stock offering and just coming to us and spending a lot less. And that's not at Pillar, by the way. That's at 2030. That's my for-profit company. Pillar is a nonprofit. 2030 is for-profit. And we're just trying to change the mechanics there to tokens. Later, that might change a lot because that might give us more potential liquidity, better functioning markets, and maybe then regulators will wake up and say, hey, maybe some of this is okay for the public, and then some good things will happen. But for now, security token offerings is not the next big thing. It's the next old thing, just with some new technology to change how we do the registers.
So, I mean, okay, that's fair enough because, obviously it is an old kind of model just being bought into, I guess, a new market.
It's so heavily regulated that we just spend most of our money on lawyers and processes that are highly controlled.
So can you think of a better fundraising model then that isn't an STO or an ICO? Because obviously the ICO, people still need protection, right?
The ICO's over, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So, because there's just too much risk. So no large government is going to say, oh, we'll never say this is a security ever. You're free and clear to go raise money. That's not going to happen. So I just think tokenization is just going to, unfortunately, work its way back into the old frameworks, and we'll just be using it to save money. when the whole actual thing is broken.
Okay. Yeah. So then, what's your view then on the likes of, let's say, Malta, for example, because they're trying their best to regulate.
Matter. Sure, even Switzerland has passed some laws that say that utility tokens are okay, but you can't sell that to an American or to a UK citizen or to almost any European citizen. So great, from Malta to Switzerland to Gibraltar, they can all do fantastic business as long as your clients or your investors are all in those 3 countries. That's not liquidity. That's not a solution. So it doesn't matter where you're located. It matters where your buyers are. Yeah. And then trading is just going to be a completely different thing because of all the rules.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to tell us a bit more about Pillar Academy? I understand you've got a new...
Sure. So one of the things, our mission at Pillar is to change the world. And I've been through a few cycles of new technology. I was one of the people who played a role in the development of the World Wide Web. That's how old I am. And it's always the same thing. It's never the technology that changes the world. It's people's understanding and people's open-mindedness that changes the world. The technology just lets them do new things once they can get their heads around it. And so we're starting Pillar Academy to help change minds, because otherwise we'll just be running up against old people who are like 50 years old who just want to keep things exactly the way they are. Yeah. And that's so frustrating. And so we have to start learning to be more agile as a society, bring more agility to governance, to what I call group decision making, and also to personal decision making, because people don't really see the world fundamentally from an objective data point of view. They have too many emotions and opinions that they bring to their decision making. So this is something I teach at our annual workshop, and we're trying to now scale it up. So if people go to pillar.academy, they'll see an essay there saying why I think we don't want to keep going with the way the world is now. If we do, when you're a big mucky muck CEO and a big senior politician or whatever you are, there's going to be, whatever it is, there's going to be like 10 large companies running most of everything, and all your data will be theirs.
Yeah.
That might not be a world you want.
No, it's a scary thought.
Right? So if you're in your 20s or if you're flexibly minded, we're building a community. It's free. It's open source. It's nonprofit. We want you to come in and learn from us to become what we call a rationalist, an evidence-based decision maker, instead of looking at the world from your own opinions, and then learn to work in groups to change organizations, to change institutions. And we're trying to develop a whole curriculum for that, where we can really start to get away from these existing political parties that we have. There's no good political party now. They're not. All of government and all of education and things like medicine are built on these kind of rigid frameworks that were designed, hundreds of years ago that stopped working. And now you're living in an exponential time. You and your kids and this rest of the century is exponential growth. You can say goodbye to the stability we've seen over the last 100 years. It looks like things are going pretty quickly, but it's nothing compared to what's coming with AI, with robotics, with just communications in general, and with the fact that advances in material science, in physics, in chemistry, in business can now be replicated so quickly. That's going to make people's heads spin who have been in these institutions for decades and kind of enforcing the same rules. That's not going to work. That's all going to fail. Yeah. Try paying your taxes in 2050. They won't even know. They won't know how to collect your taxes in 2050 because they think that you earn your money in a certain country. Well, your money will be everywhere. We don't know. Technology is going to move very quickly now. So come to pillar.academy and learn with us, because we want a group of young people to really change the world and replace, all those bureaucrats who just want to hang on to their jobs.
Mm-hmm. I understand you've got a book that explains this kind of mindset in more detail, right? It's called Pull, or?
I have a book that talks about some of it. The Pillar Project was based on my book called Pull.
Yeah.
I teach classes in what I call business agility, and we're developing, a set of courses for personal agility and group agility and government agility, and that I hope will become a new book, and that will be kind of the thing that gets the message around the world. So come at the very beginning and help us. But you only have a couple dozen people in our community. It just launched a month ago.
Cool. Okay.
But really, what could be more important? I mean, we have to fix money. We have to fix education. We have to fix healthcare. We have to fix all this political ridiculousness, regulations. Money laundering, you've heard of anti-money laundering laws? They don't work. There's really strong empirical evidence that this is just a silly game that make banks and politicians look good, but they actually don't stop anyone from laundering any money. So do you really want to hang on to these legacy rules as we explode into the 21st century?
No, they need to be adaptable, don't they? Yeah.
We need much more agile society.
Okay.
So it's a long road, and we're in it for the long haul. So please join us.
Okay, so I'm interested because you mentioned that you were around, you were working within the dot-com boom. And, people always trying to compare where we are in the dot-com boom compared to where we are in the blockchain boom. Like, where would you say we are in that?
There was even this dot-com bubble that wasn't a bubble, and it didn't really. There was just some companies that failed. It wasn't, the world is so much better off because of all those failures, and so much has been built on top of what we built in the 90s. And if you'd bought a whole large portfolio, sorry. If you'd bought a large portfolio of stocks in 1998 before the burst of the bubble, you'd probably have done fine. So I don't compare. I don't think there's really a direct comparison. I mean, what happened in the last 2 years has been so insane. Yeah. It doesn't compare at all. It's just been a crazy new world.
And are you a believer in Bitcoin itself? Like, do you think Bitcoin will ever be overthrown? Or do you think Bitcoin will just be like a store of value? Or do you think it'll ever be used as crypto, as cash? Like, did I say Bitcoin Cash?
Well, I fundamentally believe that anybody who predicts this stuff is wrong because you just can't. And I always believe at any time that Bitcoin has about 50% chance to go to double as it does to go in half. Yeah. That's always true. We just can't tell. In other words, I'm saying that the market is always pricing in about right for the uncertainties ahead, pretty much. There's no like, oh, I'm brilliant, I can see that this is a good time to buy.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I don't know. I hope it is. My ultimate prediction for Bitcoin is that over the next 10 years or so, it will go up quite a bit because it has the brand mostly. Remember, we have to get over quantum in about 8 years, maybe. Let's call it start getting into the quantum fix in about 5 years and finish the quantum fix in about 10 years. Yeah. So that Bitcoin's going to have to make it through that. But assuming we do, I'd say Bitcoin will go up quite a bit, and I don't know the numbers, but many times, 10 or 20 or 50 times, I don't know. But then I think ultimately Bitcoin will go to zero. And not because it's a bad form of store of value, but I think there'll just be so many better things. Ultimately, it'll just get outcompeted, I think.
I understand that you're doing a talk for us today, I believe. So what is your talk about? Can you tell us what we can expect?
I'm always excited to support Blockchain Week. Yeah. And, it's not quite last year's fervor and excitement, but it's still a lot of real people here solving real problems. So I'll be talking about tokens today, tokenomics. And then tonight I'm giving a talk on security tokens. And tomorrow I'll be back for a panel on token business models, I think. And then Wednesday, I'm teaching a course as part of Blockchain Week on macroeconomics and money. That's a full afternoon course on Wednesday afternoon.
Is that the business agility workshop?
No,
or is that something else?
No, it's money. It's macroeconomics. So if you want to understand money, if you think Bitcoin is money and you live in London, you should come, and I will explain why Bitcoin is not money, but what money is and what it will be. Right. And just to understand macroeconomics from I would say a more up-to-date viewpoint than most people have.
Perfect. Okay. Well, that sounds super interesting. So, where do our viewers find out more about this?
Well, most of it's at the Blockchain Week website. So they should, if this is going up soon, they should check it right away because this is all this week.
Yeah. But in terms of obviously Pillar Project, but not just Pillar Project. I understand you're doing 2030 and everything else that we've spoke about.
I encourage people, if you have Ether and tokens, to download the Pillar wallet. It's in the App Store. you can come get our newsletter. That's at pillarproject.io. If you're interested in security tokens, come to 2030.io. And if you want to change the world with us and you're an open-minded thinker, come to pillar.academy.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today, David. Enjoy your talk.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, guys. That's EAK TV. Subscribe below. We'll be speaking to lots of more speakers later on today. Thank you.